If you cut yourself off and limit your interactions with the outside world, and communicate only with a small circle of people who only in turn communicate with each other, then the world dictates that eventually you'll develop your own variation of a language. Of course, in today's video we're going to look at a family who has done exactly that, except on top of that, they're crooks. You encounter this family through a homestead robbery during Chapter 2, which is suggested to Arthur Morgan by Javier Escuela. Of course, the family in question is the Porter family, or at least that's what we believe they're called, and they live at a location known as Chez Porter, which is located just a little ways northwest of Window Rock, quite a distance north of Valentine. You can go here on your own, however the most organic way to do this is to go with Javier.
You busy, Arthur?
Not too busy. Why?
I heard about a house. Could be interesting.
What kind of a house?
I don't know. A couple fellas I heard in town, they said it was really freakish. Family local boogeymen, I guess. But they're crooked in every way.
So?
Well, so these boys thought they were sitting on a lot of cash. They're highway robbers, kidnappers, apparently. But they're well hidden in the woods.
That sounds pretty dubious.
Of course, yeah, it's dubious, but there ain't much risk of getting caught.
Okay, then. Let's go take a look.
Exactly. Just take a look. It's up north, on the other side of the river from Valentine. Best way there is through Cumberland Falls, though. You know it?
Sure, more or less.
I know I didn't have to take Arthur's walk up slow there, however I wanted to show off the double rainbow in the background. After dismounting your horse near the location which you will automatically travel to, Javier will have this to say about this location's inhabitants.
Apparently, this family's been isolated for so long, they started talking in their own weird dialect. They really don't like outsiders, especially on their turf.
Well, you just keep selling me on this job, don't you?
So what we've learned from Javier about this family is that they're a group of crooked recluses that speak in their own dialect and rob passers-by.
Well, there's a pretty big barn in the back. Not a bad place to start looking. There must be a lot of people living here. A large house. This could be in any one of them buildings, and who knows how many people are in there.
Going in, their numbers are unknown, however Arthur estimates that it could be quite a big number. Upon closer inspection of the location, you will overhear this during the Homestead robbery mission.
Just stay quiet.
Maybe use hunt a pig this time once, Mal. Where you been now, Newt? Don't be boiling now, Pappy. I's gone but 10 minutes I was.
You can hollygag all the now day long, cause Edie takes patrol now, don't you?
What? No, you didn't get all the jam.
You shut your gumper, or I'll flagger your felt, I will. Your niece will pull it up, boy. Up. Go guard the shed.
Go!
You understand what they're saying?
Not much of it.
You can choose to open fire straight away, however if you don't, Javier will set fire to these stables at the front.
Oh, swanking heck! What the hickory happened here? We got to put this out, don't you? Oh.
Hey!
No matter what you do, these guys are hostile, however you can understand it under these circumstances at the very least. Fortunately for Arthur, the numbers aren't exactly that great, there are only a few of them, and so in an open shootout you will make short work of them. After killing them off, you will then be prompted to search the barn.
They weren't shy about defending that barn. Let's check in there first.
On the upper level of the barn you will find a chest with a bit of money in it as well as a jewellery bag. However, you will also notice that there is a hole under this stack here. If you come here alone you cannot get to the stash, however with Javier's help you can push this stack out of the way and retrieve a nice cash bonus.
Ah, well, look what we have here.
I told you it was worth the trouble, didn't I?
Yeah, you take this. Let's split up. I'll meet you back at camp.
Sounds good.
I do believe the exact number that you personally received from this homestead robbery is $175. Upon looting the bodies of the fallen Porter family, you will find nothing really of interest. However, unlike after most shootouts in this game, if you linger for too long, you will not wind up getting bounty. So you can stick around and search this place thoroughly, but I wouldn't say that I found anything particularly interesting. After this homestead robbery mission, there is no evidence to suggest that any of the Porter family has survived. However, if before the homestead robbery mission you come here on your own and do not interfere with the family, basically meaning you remain undetected, you'll be able to trigger some fascinating dialogue.
But you, me, Ma, Finny, we spoke road now.
The Outlanders will blandish you. Surely they will. Now you got to keep strongly for the awakening.
But on 20 years we wait.
We got to keep clean now, don't you? Now goes watch the shed, you dippy Plymmock. For Pappy spunks his top again. Any folk steps on this soil, they don't leaves. Okay now?
Okay, Edie.
Mal and Newt, they sees you veering squirrely, they veer squirrely likewise. When they fails me, you fails me. Don't bend to the blandishing, 'cause there's nothing but damnation out there. We sells to 'em, don't you? Like we keeps apart, like we always keeps. The outlands in the shadows, like I says it is. We're free and freer still surely in the world to come. So no more of this dippy yakketing, you hears? I hears. Go on with you now, sleep deep. Sleep deep, Papa.
You see that girl at the market, googling at me again.
Googling at what a raggedy squirreler you is.
You sees when I get a woman like that, don't you? Frazzle dipping all the night.
Frazzle dipping your little pullywag, more like.
We has that one we keeps in the woods. Pappy was boiling when he sees her, don't you?
Oh, what the hickory's her name now?
Finance, don't you? And next run to market, I combs my hair all flowy like I says to the girl, good morning. You watch now.
I tells you every time, no yakketing in the market. Newt and Edie takes the wagon now, don't you? Now shut your gulpers and do it right on that ginseng.
The family patriarch, when talking to one of his sons in one of those dialogues, mentions the world to come. Another family member named Edie is speaking to her brother at one point about the awakening and the fact that the family needs to stay strong. It would appear as if this family has not only just created their own dialect, but their own religion. They appear to believe that some cataclysmic event is coming and that their purity will save them. But the most disturbing conversation in all that dialogue was in the third one that I showed.
We has that one we keeps in the woods. Pappy was boiling when he sees her, don't you?
Oh, what the hickory's her name now?
Finance, don't you?
It would appear as if they are living up to their kidnapper's part of their description that Javier gave us, as apparently somewhere out in the woods they are keeping a prisoner. Whether or not she is still alive is unknown, however in their dialect I can't make heads nor tails of it. However, I would say that I'm thinking maybe she is still alive, being kept underground somewhere, hence the statement digs her up and ask. They say that this captive is out in the woods, however I think we can all agree that that's a massive search area. This place is absolutely surrounded by woodland, so whether or not their captive is out there for us to find, I'd be fascinated to find out. However, I did do a relatively decent search and I couldn't find anything. However, nearby there's a location named Clausen's Rest. Clausen's Rest is only located down the road a little ways from Chez Porter, and at this location you will run into this disturbing scene. Yes, I've already done a video on Clausen's Rest. I will get to how it might tie into this location in a minute. The bodies of two children who appear to have locked themselves inside this house and starved or dehydrated to death. There are no signs of the boys' parents, however their mother appeared to have gone out and never come back, leaving behind this message. Glenn and Eddie, I have gone to track down those men and get our money back. The door's locked and the windows are boarded shut. Promise me you won't answer to nobody who comes calling, even if you think you know them. There's enough food and water for 4 days or more, but I should be home by tomorrow night at the latest. Practice your reading and writing for me. All my love, Mama. The boy's mother quite clearly never did return, meaning that she probably found who she was looking for. The men who took their money. And they either killed her or took her prisoner, and because she locked her boys in the house, they died likely of dehydration. Could the money we find at the stash at Chez Porter be in fact this family's? Maybe it's a good job we came along and brutalized them. So please let me know what you think. Could the aftermath we see at Clausen's Rest be related to the Porter family? Of course, if you come here on your own and kill everyone but Pappy, I noticed that Pappy, the patriarch of the family, will run off. He shouts again about the reckoning, saying that it will come early for us. Again, reinforcing that this family believes in some cataclysmic event on the horizon for all of humanity. Now, I did manage to capture old Pappy here, and he didn't really say much of interest.
Let me off, darn you!
There is only one punishment that befits a man as naughty as this one. Anyone else feel a sudden urge to watch Star Wars? Now, upon searching Chez Porter, you can't actually find too much of interest. There are no letters. There is the occasional book dotted about, which implies that they might be somewhat literate as people. There is an abundance of premium cigarette packs dotted about, so if you want to get some cigarette cards, this is definitely a place worth visiting. Of course, the main prize for coming here is in the main house. From the main entrance at the front of the house, go through the door on the left and then up the ladder. Here you will find a pump-action shotgun. It is horrendously filthy and will need cleaning. If you don't have any gun oil, do not fret, there is some in this wardrobe in the living room. Beyond that, there's not really anything to find, no letters or specific items unique to this location or anything. However, even without all that flesh, this spot is a fascinating place, purely because of the people who live here. A reclusive family of bogeymen living in a secluded location, only breaking this cut off from the outside world to trade at the market, or to rob, kidnap, or kill people who get too close. Or maybe in the case of Clausen's Rest, go out and rob somewhere specifically. They appear to have their own cultist-like religious beliefs, with dialogue, despite it being in its own dialect, implying that they believe that the end of the world is coming and their purity will spare them from the awakening, as they call it. I've seen posts online implying that they're inbred as well, and though this is probably likely, there's no actual evidence to suggest it in the game. However, if you take one look at Edie's face, for example, you'll believe that they are, so I am imagining that they probably are to some extent. This family answers to its patriarch, who they refer to simply as Pappy. He's very strict in dictating his beliefs over the rest of his family, even going as far as being cruel, burying some woman alive, as implied by dialogue. However, it doesn't actually matter because we left him looking about as palatable as a spicy chicken nugget from Mackey's. It's curious how people know about them, which is implied by Javier Escuela finding out about them then telling Arthur, knowing full well what they're capable of and yet allowing them to just exist out here. But I guess that's somewhat what makes them bogeymen. People fear them. They also all seem to be addicted to premium cigarettes, so honestly I'd probably swerve them all as well. But of course you're going to have to let me know what you think about this location down in the comments section. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. If I did, please be kind to me. I restarted the entire game from scratch just to make this video. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff. That would be super appreciated. Maybe go ahead and follow me on my social media and all that stuff. That would be fantastic. And if you want extra content among other things, then maybe consider becoming a patron. Whether you do or don't is completely up to you. However, there's a link in the description and in the cards for you to go ahead and check it out. And of course, a massive thank you to the gents over at Conversations for sending me this awesome t-shirt. Those guys make some incredible high quality gaming discussion content and it's 100% worth checking out, so I'll leave a link in the description for them as well. I know you won't regret it, so please do listen to your Lord Fizhy. And of course I will see you all very soon with another video at some point, but until then, goodbye.